If you've come here, then it's time for you to know the truth. I have just spent the last 7 hours in total going through large bits and pieces of what YouTube thinks happened to Christ. Which of course brought back to mind all of the who killed Christ, who's responsible. Is it the Romans? Is it the Jews? Back and forth and round we go. And after that, it makes me think of the Crusades, the Spanish Inquisition, World War II. All of these things that have come to pass, a good 80% of them have God's name in it. I've recently finished reading a book called Identity Theft. It basically is one man's experience, a celestial experience, where God says, hey, pay attention. The person you're seeking after actually is what I say he is. The man who wrote it is Jewish. And he, going as far as he felt he could in Judaism, decided he was going to look to other religions. And he goes through all the Middle Eastern religions. He goes through the Eastern religions, the Orientals. And then he comes to Christianity. And he goes in search of Jesus. Well, most people would think, yay, that's a good thing. He goes to his teacher, his rabbi. And the rabbi scolds him for chasing after Jesus. Because, and I didn't know this, I did not know that there was this prevalent idea in the Jewish community that Jesus wasn't Jewish. According to this author, the primary amount of the Jewish community does not think that Jesus, his disciples, his family, or anything about Christianity is Jewish. But if you go back and you read the Bible, you see that Jesus was born in Galilee. His brothers, his family, they were all born in Israel. The only person that wasn't born in Israel probably was Paul. And even then, he very well could have been born in Israel. But he had a Greek education and a Roman education. He lived most of his life in Greece. He came back to be a member of the Sanhedrin court when he was old enough. I have no idea how this idea came about. This concept that Jesus wasn't Jewish. But the book does a wonderful job of making sure that the author knows that Jesus was Jewish. I have a few things that I'm going to tell you. First, Mary, the mother of Jesus, number one, is not a god. That's for you Catholics out there. I know you don't think she's a god, but believe it or not, you pray to her. You ask her for her favors and she doesn't like it. And her name is Miriam, like Moses' sister, not Mary. Jesus, his name is not Jesus. It's Yeshua. Yeshua. It's very closely to where we get our name Joshua. Paul, they told us his real name in the Bible and it was Saul. But the difference between Paul and anyone else is he actually had two names. In Israel, he was known as Saul. In Greece or Rome or anywhere else he went, he was known as Paul. Why? I don't know. But it doesn't matter. In the scriptures it says, Saul, who was also called Paul. It doesn't mean that Paul was his real name. And Peter, his name wasn't Peter. His name was Kepha. Kepha in Hebrew means rock. So when the Greeks heard his name, they took it and translated it into Petros, and the Anglo-Saxon equivalent of Petros is Peter. So technically it all means the same thing, but his name was Kepha. Jesus, or Yeshua, referred to him as Shimon Kepha, because that was his name. All of these people are Jewish. Don't know where you people got this idea. Getting back to my topic, what YouTube thinks happened to Jesus. I've done my praying, I've done my looking around, and I found a medical documented case of what would happen. There's a doctor who is a believer and who is a trauma surgeon. He understands what would have happened. There is some debate as to where the nail was placed in the body of Jesus. Some say it was here, some say it was here. Doesn't matter. It does not matter where the nail was placed. I mean, you know, for all anyone else knows, it could have been placed at an angle right here, through the wrist. Wouldn't make any sense, but it doesn't matter. The goal was to secure the body to the cross, causing as much pain as possible. The more prevalent theories are through the palm or through this part of the arm. Either way, it's still painful, because there's something called the median nerve, and the doctor talks about this. The median nerve runs along this portion of the arm into the hand, right about there. And technically, in medical terms, everything from my fingers up is considered the hand. So even if the nail was placed right there, it's still considered in the hand. The median nerve that runs along through here is what's responsible for this movement. Well, not these two, but these three. Without that nerve, your hand couldn't do this. So if the nail did go through the hand here, the hand would be effectively useless. The nerve in there would be displaced or destroyed. His hand would become nothing more than a crook. Something to pull on. And if the nail went through here, the spike went through here, there's a bone. There are two bones connected to the carpals. The carpals right here. Those two bones and the tendons would have been a perfect holding tool. They would have secured that body to the cross. And there's another prevalent theory that a piece of wood or metal or something was placed right here above the nail. That's certainly possible, but I don't think so, because the Romans were cruel people. They were civilized, but they knew how to inflict pain. And Jesus endured a lot of it. And the final little bit of this, and I'm going to let you go because I've thrashed on you long enough, is who killed Jesus? Was it the Romans? Was it the Hebrews? Was it someone else? The answer is it was someone else. It was you, and it was me. And it was anyone else you set your eyes on. You looked down the street, it was your neighbor. You looked down the street on the other side, it was that neighbor. It was you, and it was me. He died for all of us, because of all of us. It wasn't just one group of people's fault. It wasn't just one person's fault. It was all of us. I want that myth to end now. He died for everyone. While he went through the scourging post, the crown of thorns, the Via Dolorosa, he was thinking about us. We were on his mind. Send this video to everyone you know. I'm not saying that because I want to get views or because I want to be famous. I want this piece of information to get spread out. We all are responsible. So in a way, I'm releasing Hitler from all his evil actions because he was operating on a lie. And anyone else who blames the Jews for Christ's death, because they don't know. Even the Jews don't know. If you see someone you know who has Hebraic descent, don't treat them evil. Treat them like you would your sister or your brother. Because that's what we are. We're all siblings in Christ. Thank you for your time.